What do you say to someone after catching him while watching porn to make it any less awkward?
When I was a teen, I was showing my mom and older brother a slideshow on my PC, and a pesky porno started playing. I probably downloaded it on my 56K modem years back. My brother pulled the plug and said, "Oh boy, the computer had a virus." To this day he brings it up whenever we get drinking. The epitome of solid bro. He probably got a virus from all the porn he's been watching, ma. My parents and I were at my mom's parents' house. My dad opened his laptop to show them a YouTube video. He typed "you" into the search bar and Google auto-completed it to Yauporn. I was sitting on the couch next to him and couldn't stop laughing while he gave me a look like shut the F up before they ask questions. Same thing happened to my little brother while we were in the room on our shared desktop, except my mom is somewhat tech savvy and would have known that wasn't the case. He was showing her something on his homework and I was chilling on the couch. The porno popped up because the media player had an update and I guess he didn't close the window. She is pretty religious and not cool on porn. However, I was about to go away to college and my brother still had a few years left, so when my mom went to chew him out, ground him, it didn't help that it was lesbians blaring at full volume. I cut her off and said, "Dude, that is my homework folder. What is wrong with you?" and proceeded to act seriously pissed off. He picked up on it quick enough, and when she turned around to scold me, he made a new folder and moved a bunch of his school stuff into there. Our mom was pissed, but didn't see the point in grounding me as I was leaving the state in a month. She told me to think about Jesus and how he would feel, probably turned on. Those lesbians had some massive honkers. I did have to sacrifice the homework folder trick for him in order to get the save though. Sometimes we work on projects together, and I will throw in a folder called my personal homework folder to F with him. I remember the most traumatized I've ever seen my brother-in-law is when he came down the stairs one day while I was hanging out with him during a visit home with his eyes wide open. Asked him what was wrong, he goes, "I just walked in on Bruce, his stepson, 10 or so at the time, playing with himself, man. What the F?" I couldn't help myself and just burst out laughing. Are you winning? This is my favorite response. Best friend showing me porn with two women when his dad walks in and sees us. Dad walks out, mom asks, "What are they up to?" He responds, "Studying anatomy." This dad is the real bro. She knew. Got caught once when I was young. Was greeted with "all right wanker" for years and years. Okay wanker. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were studying. This will leave me more confused than traumatized after getting caught. Love it. Nah, then every time you tell them you have to study, you'll be wondering knowing that they just think you're jacking it. Back in 2010, best friend and I decided split a 2-bedroom apartment. Both 21st years old. First off, when entering the place, there's a hallway. Kitchen to the left with an open breakfast bar facing the dining and living rooms, living room straight ahead. Couches set facing away from the entry, and the TV on the far wall. If you are sitting on the couch, you have to look back to see who is either walking in or in the dining room or kitchen. Got home from work one day, and dude is chilling on the couch just laying down the hammer, and Alexis Texas is the star upon the screen just taking it like a pro, as she does. Realized that he did not hear me come in. So I meander into the kitchen, grab a beer and pop that sucker open. Still didn't hear me. Volume is pretty high on the TV. So I finally say, "She sure can take a dick." He turns his head and looks back while stating, "Takes it like the best of them," and looks back to the screen. Double takes back to me and freaks the F out. Reaction was hilarious. When the porn is so good you zone out. Oh, hey. I'm in the net scene. Oh hey, me too, that's why I'm watching. I didn't get caught in the act, but when I was 14 one day my dad said to me out of the blue, "I don't care if you look at my porn, but rewind my tapes." I used to memorize where it was so I could do the same. When I was young and still living at home, my stepdad had discovered how to unscramble satellite cards, so we got every channel for free. Well, they were out of town and my cat got hurt. In a panic I called my boyfriend's parents to help me. They came over and his mom started helping me with the cat. I handed his dad, a very traditional Southern Baptist of the extremely devout variety, the remote and told him to make himself at home. A few minutes later I heard the unmistakable sound of hardcore orgy porn and my boyfriend's father yelling, "Help, help, I don't know how to stop it." I came in to find him with his cheeks red, his eyes covered, and the remote in the floor. I hit the power button and had to explain to him that in descrambling the satellite to get free service and all the good movie channels, we had all the perny channels too. I told that story at family get-togethers forever after that. I married their son. And we lost his dad in 2014 to pancreatic cancer. He was truly a wonderful, kind, and dependable man, and I miss him terribly. This got an award and so many upvotes. That was truly unexpected, but I like to think he is somewhere laughing with all of us. Thank you guys for giving me a chance to share one of our silly stories. I didn't know you're left-handed, gross. Don't you dare click that skip button. Player 2 has joined the game. Insert coins to continue. Pebbles. Don't mind me, I'll just be here. Whisper. Watching. Slowly backs away while making direct eye contact with his buner. Nice duck, bro. Yo bro, like, no homo, but like, that right there is like, some pro gamer cock. My dad, who doesn't know computers, got on YouTube with my help one day, and he stayed on the computer all day until early that next morning browsing. I came home late and he was cosily looking at pics. Then slowly hit the red X and said he found a new band XD. Was it? Hard rock? Oh hey, I used to watch that with my mom. I'll call her up, you make popcorn, we'll make a night of it. Popcorn or cop pern? Ah, I see you're a man of culture as well. If you're my grandmother, it's okay Mike, I'll just leave your tea and biscuits on the table, try not to play with you Willie too much you'll go blind, before leaving the room slowly in reverse backwards. Can confirm this is one of the reasons I'm mental as an adult. Got a funny story about walking in on my friend having some personal time when we were like 16 or 17. He had a room upstairs at his house, and none of his family ever went up there. Well, I showed up unannounced one evening BC I was in the area and was going to see if he wanted to play some videogames. When I ran upstairs, I didn't think to knock because anytime I had ever heard anyone coming up you could clearly hear them coming. I walked through the door and he had headphones on just going at it with all his might, and I mean on the verge of sweating, and he was oblivious to everything around him, eyes solely locked on to the computer screen. I stopped in my tracks and even though my eyes knew what I was seeing, it took a second for my brain to process it, and around that time he apparently got a glimpse of me in his peripheral because he looked over at me and doubled over to cover himself, yelling get out. And I couldn't help but bust out laughing as I turned to walk out. I ran downstairs for a few minutes so that he could collect himself and then made my way back up, knocking on the wall on my way up yelling, hey man, I'm on my way up. When I walked in we just kind of grinned at each other and never spoke of it again, and no, I didn't bring it up in front of our friends, didn't want to embarrass him. And that's when you learn to knock the door before entering. Very nice of you to never bring it up in front of your friends. My dad caught me 2 times when I was a kid. He had 2 epic responses. 1, can you send me the link, I have been looking for that video for so long. 2, you know son, I really doubt they are related. My mum walked in while I was licking my ex out, she goes oh whoops. What do you want for tea? Or are you full? I could have died at that very moment, she then done it another 2 more times after that. When I was 15 I was home because of school vacation. It was the middle of the day. My mom and stepdad were at work. I had the entire afternoon to myself. So I go in my room, shut the door, turn on the TV and insert the tape into the VCR. I lay down and start going to town. I'm getting close. Suddenly my bedroom door slams open and my stepdad barges in screaming, no knock. I'm naked. I have one hand and my dick absolutely drenched in lotion. I pull the covers over myself. My stepdad is screaming at me about respect and the Kool-Aid not being full. My grades and attitude. For at least 10 minutes he does this before the porno gets loud. For a split second it dawned on him what I was doing. But then he continued to scream at me for another 10 minutes about respect and his house, his rules. How much of a pathetic piece of shit I was, and that he came all the way home on his lunch just to yell at me because he knew I'd be up to no good. He never once acknowledged that I was obviously masturbating and that he was violating my boundaries at a criminal level. Not even allowing me to get dressed or clean the lotion off my hand. Just as suddenly as he barged in he slams the door and leaves. I was so embarrassed and violated. devalued and degraded. I wanted to fucking die that day. Because I knew that he was going to get my mom to join in because he caught me, a 15-year-old, jerking. Sure enough, that night I got the couch lecture. This is where they make me sit on the couch while they take turns screaming at me for an hour or two. I can't defend myself or speak during this time or they threaten to throw me on the street. So I had to listen for however long about being a pervert and a pathetic human being for masturbating. From a woman who got expelled for getting pregnant at 14 and a guy who left their Polaroid sex pic out on accident once when I was a kid. Not to mention the sex toys. It was humiliating and to this day it still really bothers me on a deep level. So yeah, don't do that. Say nothing and just leave a picture of Jesus on his desk later.
Thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe for more Hyperspace stories. See you on the next Dear Taryn.